Elijah, how old are you?
27.
What is your religious indoctrination?
I'm Christian.
Cool.
Hello?
I'm Christian.
Yeah,
Hey,
Christianity.
guys.
Look, they got Juke working again. Christianity is false, and black people should not practice religions used to oppress, subjugate, colonize, demonize, and erase.
How do you know that Christianity is false?
Oh,
The God of the nigga.
Hello?
Hello?
Who's
Yeah,
up, bro?
the God of
Who's
the
up, man?
black, black man. Yeah, so the God of Elijah, the God of the Bible is not real. When you look at human history and you look at anthropology, human history and anthropology shows us that all God concepts are created by the culture that they come from. Yahweh is not real.
I think there's philosophical evidence for God's existence.
There's what?
Philosophical evidence for God's existence.
Yes, we're dealing with history and anthropology right now. The philosophy
Yeah,
philosophy
Christianity,
has to be put to the side when we talk about history, sir.
well, that's not a Christian belief.
You and I are having a conversation about history, not
Well,
philosophy.
you're saying that Christianity is false. Christianity
Yes,
operates off
based
the idea
on
that God exists.
Christianity is false based on history and anthropology.
Well, we can prove that Christianity is true through history as well.
Okay,
But
the God of the Bible.
idea that
Okay, I got you. The God of the God of the Israelites. What is that God's name?
Jesus.
The God of the Torah observant Israelites. What is their God's name?
Jesus Christ. I don't understand what's wrong.
Yahweh. Yahweh
Yeah,
is there. So can you and I agree that the Torah predates Christianity? The Sefer HaTorah or the Pentateuch. Can you and I agree it predates Christianity?
It's the Old Testament, but for
No,
Christianity,
not the whole Old Testament. I'm just talking about the first 5 books, the Torah.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. But I'm saying
The
for
Sefer HaTorah.
Christianity,
The Sefer
yes, those are
HaTorah
the first 5 books. Yes.
correct.
For
This is a
for
separate.
Christianity to be false, though, you would have to disprove the resurrection of Christ. Do you want to do that?
Okay, let's slow down. Can you and I agree that the Old Testament is a whole separate religion that predates Christianity? Has nothing to do with Christianity.
No, but that has nothing to do with the topic.
The topic is black people should not be Christian.
No, the original thing you said was Christianity is false. The way in which you would prove Christianity is by disproving the resurrection.
Well, before we talk about Christianity, we have to separate what is known today as Judaism from Christianity. That is 2 separate religions, right?
Modern day Judaism and Christianity are 2 different religions, correct? But the Old Testament and New Testament are not 2 different religions.
Yes, the Israelites worship Yahweh exclusively. It's called Yahwism or Yahwism. Have you heard of that?
Christians worship Yahweh exclusively.
Listen to I understand what you're saying. Now you have to pay attention to my words. When we look at the Israelites, they worship Yahweh. That is called Yahwism. This predates Christianity, has nothing to do with a Christ.
Okay, fantastic. So we're not going to talk about, you're saying that it has nothing to do with Christ. You're trying to disprove Christianity. So let's disprove Christianity.
You're trying to put the cart before the horse. If we have a conversation about Christianity without establishing known facts about the Israelites, we're gonna hit a bump in the road. I'm trying to.
Okay, is Yahwism and the Israelites' belief, is that different from Christianity?
Yes.
Okay, so then why are we talking about a different religion from Christianity?
So when we start talking about Christianity, you can understand that the Torah is a whole separate religion that has nothing to do with the New Testament.
I'm not arguing the Torah right now.
I know, but you have to understand that it's a separate religion so we can have a conversation.
Dude, I can grant that to you right now. Do you want to disprove the resurrection?
I want to disprove the entire belief system.
Okay, the belief system is one, that God exists, which we have philosophical evidence for, and two, the resurrection of Christ.
So you see, but you're not listening.
Okay,
you're saying no. I don't need your help. I don't need your help. You're saying we have philosophical evidence for a deity that's not real. How does that?
You know what an argument is?
You making my mic go in and out. How do we have philosophical evidence for a deity that anthropologically and historically does not exist?
Yeah, because through philosophical argumentation, you can prove that a God exists. This God is maximally good. If a God is maximally good and is the ground for all virtues, it would have to be multi-personal. The only God that is multi-personal is Yahweh, or the triune God. Therefore, the triune God would be the God that exists.
Yahweh is a tribal storm deity from the Canaanite pantheon, whose consort's name was Asherah.
That's
the earliest inscription of Yahweh. It comes out of Egypt, and it's talking about the Shasu. The Shasu are a desert tribe from Midian. This disproves the God of the Bible. It shows that historically and anthropologically, it shows that this God is not the God of the universe and never was.
Yeah. So do you want to disprove Christianity, or do you just want to continue rambling?
This man said that I'm rambling. You said that Yahweh is the God of the universe, right?
And we can prove that philosophically.
I just disproved it historically and with anthropology and history. I just disproved it.
No, you did not. If you want to disprove it,
you can get on your
resurrection.
You can get on whatever phone or laptop you got and ask Google, where does the God Yahweh come from? And it will tell you. Do it right now.
That's not what we're talking about.
We are, again, I set the stage by telling you this is a conversation about history, not philosophy. I don't
disprove the history of the resurrection of Christ.
We
prove
cannot
the history. Prove the history of the resurrection.
Okay, I can prove
We cannot talk about a resurrection of a son of a God that's not real.
You're just begging the question.
No, the God of the Bible, the God of the Israelites out of the Bible, Yahweh, is not real.
Okay, do you want to prove here? Since
are you not paying attention?
You're trying to draw a connection to a Canaanite God and say, "Oh, this God doesn't exist," but you're not actually giving any evidence for your claim. Since you're so dead set on trying to disprove Yahweh's existence, do you want to give an actual argument for it?
Yes, Yahweh is not real.
That's a claim. That's not an argument. Do you want to get another chance?
Anthropology is the study of ancient people and their cultures and their religions and their spiritual practices. If you look at the anthropology of Yahweh...
That's a definition. That's not an argument. Do you want to give an argument?
If you do some research on where the God Yahweh comes from, it will show you that this is a tribal cultural concept, not a God of the universe. Literally.
Do you know what an argument is?
There's a book you can read. It's called Myths in the Bible and Their Parallels in Other Religions.
So no, you don't know what an argument is.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you. There is a book you can read. It's called Mythology in the Bible and the Parallels in Other Religions. And the author, with footnotes, shows you where every motif in the Bible comes. It's pulled from older mythology, everything. So when I say the God of the Bible is not real, when I say Yahweh is not real, I'm talking about historically, you and I can go to a time period where this God does not exist, and then we can see what culture, what area, what people created this deity, whose deity this is. This has never been the God of the universe. Never.
Can you explain how a culture worshiping a specific deity means that deity doesn't exist?
Because we have evidence of multiple cultures, multiple groups of people throughout history, inventing deities to deify their culture or to answer a question they don't have the answer to. Every single god that has been presented to us thus far, we know whose culture it comes from and why based on history and anthropology.
How does that prove it doesn't exist?
Because we know. I'm about to give you an example. Please just follow me. Just work with me. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. The god of thunder. What is his name?
Zeus.
Yes. Can you and I, we know, don't you and I know whose culture that god comes from?
Yeah.
Don't you and I know what group of people created that god?
I know where the idea comes from, yeah.
We know the group of people that created it, right?
You're saying that it's created. Now look, if you're going to try to disprove God, I'm going to tell you this, right? The reason as to why I don't believe, the reason as to why I don't believe in Zeus or Thor or whatever is because there's philosophical evidence that proves that multiple gods can exist. Neither can a contingent being be what we know as God. Thor, Zeus, whatever the case may be, they are multiple gods and they are contingent, therefore they would not be God.
Yes.
So
this is why I asked you to go and Google where the god Yahweh comes from, and they're going to tell you.
It's not about what a culture believes. It's about whether or not this thing actually exists.
Okay. Can you Google where the god Yahweh? I'll do it. Don't worry about it. I'll do it. I'll do it real quick. Where does the god Yahweh come from? Yahweh was originally a deity worshipped by Midianites in the northwest Arabian desert. That is the Shasu I was talking about earlier.
That's not what you said.
I remember earlier when I said the earliest inscription of the god Yahweh comes out of Egypt, and it's talking about the Shasu. The Shasu are these desert tribes from Midian. That's what I said earlier.
And do you want to prove that this God doesn't exist?
I just did. I just showed you that it's made. I just showed you that it's made up, just like Zeus, just like Thor, Odin.
You have absolutely no clue what's going on here.
Yes, I do.
And it's unfortunate. No, because I've asked you for an argument and you just give me claims without providing justification for any of your claims.
Okay.
You're saying that because we know the people who believe in said God, we can now conclude that it does not exist.
No, we know they made it up. We know they made it up because, okay, this is what I'm trying to tell you. we don't just have one instance of this. Everywhere you look on the planet, people create deities that come from their culture. This is everywhere you look.
Krishna.
Come on. Come on, Black.
You got come on. The Greeks made the Zeus.
Come on, Black.
Dang, that's fantastic.
And Krishna
so
and Hindus
Black,
are older than Christianity.
You're doing a great job. So next time you decide to chime in,
how is that, bro?
Black, next time you decide to chime in, try to make sure that you're
okay. Thank whoever muted him. Thank you. Just give me a second because I'm speaking of we're speaking about Yahweh, but we have other examples of this exact same scenario throughout history. Literally, Black gave you some. You and I can pull up a list of the thousands of deities that have been created. Yahweh's on the list, brother.
It's funny because he said earlier that Yahweh is the only multi-personal God, but I mean, there's Brahman in Hinduism, there's Amun-Ra in ancient Egypt. Like, what are you talking about?
It's a different gods.
You guys, those are different gods.
Okay, don't mute him. Don't mute him.
I wasn't muting Elijah. I was muting this asshat that chimed in.
Yeah, the other dude, don't chime in because when it's your turn, you'll get to go. So Elijah. Elijah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
You think Yahweh is the God of the universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you think that because of
Philosophical reasoning.
Philosophical. What is
Reasoning
give
and
me the historical I don't do Phil, bro. Give me the historical reasoning. Go ahead.
If Jesus Christ rose from the dead, then Christianity is true. Jesus Christ rose from the dead, therefore Christianity is true.
Yeah, Jesus Christ didn't rise from the dead, sir.
Okay, do you want to provide an argument?
Jesus Christ wasn't even a real person.
Do you have any evidence for that claim too?
There's nothing. We actually have nothing for a Jesus. We have nothing.
Where do you get that from? Do you want to search up on Google? Did Jesus actually exist?
No, I don't have to search it up on. I don't have to search it up on
you don't
Google.
Want to use Google.
I don't have to search this up.
Well, why don't you?
I don't have to search it up.
Search up. Did Jesus exist?
Jesus Christ wasn't a real person, sir.
Why don't you go ahead and use?
There's
Google?
no evidence.
Just using it.
There's no evidence.
It's right there on your screen. You can use Google.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what you're typing, by the way.
I got you.
You want to show your screen?
Hey, he won't show the screen.
This is what I asked Google.
Say, if you carry your ass up
I got you.
one more
No,
time,
you good.
I'm dropping your ass and you're not coming back.
I'm talking, by the way. Completely.
Yes. So let me tell you what I Googled first.
You can just show us. It's okay.
I can tell you. I don't got a lot, nigga. You're new here. I've been doing this for this. Is there evidence? Is there evidence of Jesus Christ? And this is what it says. It said there is a scholarly consensus that a historical Jesus existed, supported by both biblical accounts and non-Christian sources like Roman historian Tacitus and Jewish historian Josephus. That's what it says.
Okay.
Now,
so we have nothing.
The Bible, yes. I'm about to dispel all of this. Now, the Bible is not an historical account. It's not even contemporary. It's not even contemporary to Jesus. None of these people existed. None of these people met Jesus. The people that wrote the people that I'm trying to answer the question. I'm trying to help Google out. So
you're trying to help Google.
Yes, when we look at the Bible is not a history book. It gets everything wrong. Literally. From the creation story. I got you. From the creation story to Revelations, all of that is mythology. So when Google says there is a scholarly consensus, when you actually read these scholars and you read their books, like people like Bart Ehrman and stuff like that, when you read their books and you look at what they have for evidence of a Jesus, their evidence of Jesus is Paul and the Bible. That's their evidence for Jesus.
Can you define what a historical account is?
Pay attention to what I'm saying. When you actually read these scholars' books, like Bart Ehrman, people like, because I've actually read Bart Ehrman's books on Jesus.
Me too.
Yeah, when you read them, his evidence for Jesus is Paul.
Why? Why does he use Paul?
There was no Paul.
Why does he use Paul?
Because of Paul's letters.
What about them? Why does he look at them as reliable? Why does he look at them like reliable historical pieces of evidence?
They're not reliable historical pieces of evidence because those are not first century texts.
Where do you get that from?
Yes,
can you look up are the Gospels first century texts?
They're not.
Can you look it up? Tell me what Google. Tell me what Google says.
Listen to me, sir. The Gospels and Paul's letters are not first century texts.
Can you look that up on Google? Let me know what it says. I want to see if Google agrees with you. Are Paul's letters first century text? If you were wondering what to type.
I got you.
Thank you. Ain't that much to type. Are Paul's letters first century text? You want me to type it?
I got it. There we go. All right.
You don't like what you see or what?
Yeah. So this is what I thought. Yeah. I googled two things. The first thing I googled was does Paul's letters date to the first century? And the second thing I googled is do we have evidence of Paul's letters from the first century? One said no and one said yes.
So you want me to show my screen, or you want to show yours?
I'm pretty sure your screen is gonna pull up one of these that I got.
Do you want to show your screen where it says? Because the thing
I'm telling you what just popped up on my screen.
So when you typed in "Are Paul's letters first century text?" what did it say?
I typed it in twice because you gotta word shit differently, but I typed it in twice.
To
get what I want and to get what you want. Yeah.
So
Elijah.
So when I typed it in, one said yes and one said no.
yes, the authentic letters of Paul are considered first century text. So now we're 0 for 2.
We're not 0 for 2 because when you actually well, hold up, wait, I got it. I know the key word. When you actually do a deep dive on Paul's letters and you do a critical examination of them, there's scholarship that those are not first century text at all. Literally.
Which one? Like what scholarship?
I got you. I'm gonna pull it up. I'm glad you asked me. I can pull it up for you right now because I have it in my notes on my laptop. What was you about to say, Taharka?
I was just going to say the key word there is considered. There's no evidence.
Well,
no material culture evidence.
Well, I was telling him that there is a
first century text if there's no evidence. What do you guys
because there's a scholarly consensus. There's a scholarly consensus.
There's no material culture. Elijah, shut up for a second. There's no material culture evidence that they come from the first century. We have nothing from the first century. What we have are texts, fragments of texts from the second century that scholars suggest, because of the things that are in those fragments, that they perhaps were written as early as the 50s of the first century.
So I have. There's a couple books. There's a couple books that I.
One second. Go ahead. When I don't know what I'm talking about, I would just stay on mute, right? So that's not.
I know exactly what I'm talking about, Elijah.
That's not how we figure out the dating.
So perhaps you should stay on mute then.
Well, hold up. Because I've actually done a deep critical dive of Paul and Jesus, but I just didn't think I would have to go this far. So these are some of the books that I've read. Some of them I ain't paid for yet, but I will tell you which one there's only 2 that I haven't read yet. But the books that I've read that say that Paul's letters date to the 2nd century. The first one I read is called The Falsified Paul, Early Christianity in the Twilight. And this was written in 1995 by Herman de Tiering. And it argues that the Pauline, which is what I said, the Pauline letters are 2nd century forgeries.
You said Herman what?
His name is Herman de Tiering, 1953. That's when he was born. I'm sorry. The book is The Falsified Paul, Early Christianity in the Twilight. That's one. Another book that I've read is it's called. I'm sure you've heard of him. He's on here. His name is Christ Before Jesus. He wrote a book about there's no evidence for Jesus or Paul. In his book, he talks about Marcion is the earliest that publishes Gospels. He talks about the evidence for Paul and how there's no evidence for a Paul from the 1st century or a Jesus from the 1st century.
Mm-hmm. So when
another one that I read is called The Amazing Colossal Apostle, and it's by Robert M. Price. I'm sure you've heard of that one.
So when you're actually doing research, these are books that I've read. I can pull up more. I ain't done.
So Elijah, since you like Google so much,
because I can actually.
One second,
Elijah, since you like Google so much, why not you Google?
Stay over there, okay?
Elijah, why not you Google what are the earliest fragments? What time period of the earliest fragments of Paul's letters do we have? Why don't you Google that?
Well, see, that's why I was trying to tell him, like, it's like Google is a search engine, so it's like You can, you certain shit you gotta word it a certain way so they can understand what you really ask. For example, like when you ask like, where does the God Yahweh come from? That's easy. That's simple. They gonna give you that easy. When we talking about Paul and Jesus, you gotta say shit like that because the search engine, the search engine is gonna give you the automatic
correct answer.
No, it's gonna give you the
just ask Google.
When I'm serious, when it comes to Jesus and Paul, it's different because that's not the same thing.
So
it's a little more tedious.
So what we can see now is that we do have evidence of Jesus's existence. And
what is the evidence for Jesus' existence?
You have multiple writings about Jesus's existence, which is why we can be sure.
What are the names of them?
The names of the people who write about Jesus's existence?
Yeah. What are the? I actually listen. I'm asking you, being facetious. I know the answer to this question, but I'm trying to see what you know. What is the evidence for Jesus?
You have writings from Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Paul, James, Jude, Tacitus, Josephus, Celsus, Pliny the Younger as well. You have a lot of writings, which is why we can.
Right. Anything from the Bible is not evidence because the Bible is mythology. All of that shit is false. Written later.
What's the argument for that?
Yes. This goes back to the question Taharka was telling you. If you ask or you looking for the earliest manuscript evidence of any biblical anything, none of this shit dates to no first century. Do you know how you date manuscripts? Did you hear what I just said though?
Yeah, I did. Do you know how you?
None of it dates to the first century, sir.
Do you know
there's nothing contemporary. There's nothing contemporary for a Paul or Jesus from the first century. Nothing.
Do you know how to figure out the date for a work?
Are you hearing me though?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
There's nothing.
Question.
You said Tacitus. You mentioned the Bible. I'm not entertaining the Bible as nothing. But you said Tacitus and Josephus, yes. Both references to a Jesus in Josephus is not evidence of Jesus the Christ. The first one is the Testimonium Flavianum. That's a forgery written in the 4th century. There's two books I read on this that speak about this. On the Historicity by Richard Carrier, and my favorite book about it is a book written by David Fitzgerald. It's called Nailed, and he goes in extensive detail on the Testimonium Flavianum and the James reference. If you want to,
there's new evidence in regards to the Testimonium Flavianum.
No, sir, there is not. No,
this year in 2025,
no, sir. The Testimonium Flavianum is a 4th century forgery written by Eusebius, sir.
You can look up Oxford's publication on the Testimonium Flavianum.
And what did they say? And what did they say?
One, it's authentic, and they give you the authentic rendering of what Josephus says.
What is the authentic rendering? Because prior to Eusebius, no one, no church father, Roman, Jewish, Egyptian, nobody mentions this reference of a Jesus called the Testimony Flavianum when they were using Josephus as a reference. Everybody was using Josephus's works as a reference, and nobody quotes the Testimony Flavianum until Eusebius in the 4th century.
When you say Oxford, are you talking about T.C. Smith?
Yeah, because Josephus.
Are you talking about Smith?
Excuse me, we're having a conversation.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm asking you a question. When you say Oxford, are you talking about Smith?
Hey, Mar.
Are you talking about
Taharka is a moderator. Taharka is a moderator. So when Taharka's speaking, it's like I'm speaking. That's my moderator, bro.
That's your people's?
That's my mod. Who you think is muting you? He's a moderator.
I don't know why y'all muting me. Is it because y'all getting
because when Taharka is like, that's like the host talking. I can't.
Okay, so when he say something wrong, it's like you saying something wrong too.
When he's speaking, it's like I'm speaking. Yeah.
All right, for sure.
Basically.
So both of y'all.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Cool.
So were you talking about Schmidt?
Look, Taharka. Okay.
Mar, you only muted me twice. Taharka.
I actually have not. I did.
He's not muting you at all.
Yeah, you only muted me like twice.
That's juke. Hey, that's juke. That's juke in the comments. Me. But
okay.
Elijah. So just give brother Taharka a second. I gotta pee. Give Taharka a second. Go ahead,
I
Tom.
asked you, are you talking about Schmidt, the author?
T.C. Schmidt?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what is Schmidt saying?
Schmidt gives the actual rendering and the evidence as to why it's authentic and the proper way in which Josephus should be rendered. He doesn't say that he was the Christ, but it says that he was thought to be the Christ. He uses the Arabic, the Syriac, as well as the Greek, and all of Josephus's other writings in order to correctly render the text. Obviously, this evidence came out this year, so Josephus's Testimonium Flavianum can be deemed authoritative.
Well, I mean, okay, are you saying that Schmidt is saying that people were arguing that Josephus did not mention Jesus?
No, some people try to say that Josephus' writings, there's a partial interpolation in regards to Christianity. That's what people try to argue.
Yeah, but
And
what was the
Josephus gives
interpolation?
they say that in Josephus' writings, it says that he was the Christ. And they say that because Josephus was a Jew, Josephus would have never said such an affirmative statement in regards to Jesus being the Messiah. Therefore, this part here is an interpolation, but most of the text in regards to talking about Jesus's death by crucifixion is true. But what T.C. Schmidt does is he goes through all of Josephus's work in all different languages, and then renders the text proper to the way in which Josephus speaks throughout the Greek.
Chill out, bro.
So you can actually see the proper way in which it's rendered on like page, I think 6 of his book. You can see all of that.
Okay, but you said earlier that Schmidt would have said, or Schmidt was saying that Josephus would have said that people referred to him as the Christ, that he wasn't calling him the Christ. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's how he was thought to be the Christ, but it talks about his death. So the reason as to why people bring up Josephus in regards to Jesus's existence is because it talks about the death, which is why you get atheists saying things like Jesus's death by crucifixion is as historical as anything historical can ever be.
But wait, Elijah, hold on. Let's step back for a second.
Okay.
I'm just trying to be clear because I haven't read. I just looked up that there's a new article by Schmidt, which by the way, you have to be clear and say the author's name. You can't just say Oxford because that would imply that it's like a whole series of authors.
Off of what I said, but off of what I said, were you able to find the work?
Yeah, That's why I came back and asked you. Were you talking about Schmidt? Well, you have to ask that because there are many different authors who publish from Oxford talking about Christianity. So I'm just trying to make sure it's the right person. All right, so that's the first thing. So the other thing is that's still not saying that Josephus is saying that Jesus is Christ.
That's not the argument.
Okay.
Josephus didn't write that. Josephus did not write the Testimonium Flavianum. Yes.
So, all right, here.
I already gave you. I gave you 2 sources. I gave you On the Historicity and David Fitzgerald's book Nail.
Do you know what an appeal to authority fallacy is?
What you're doing.
Do you know what it is?
That's what you're doing.
Do you know what it is? If you don't, it's fine.
What is your point?
So,
bro,
what you're doing?
Stop. There's a guy.
No,
there's a guy who goes.
Though,
go ahead.
What you're doing is you're saying, hey, there's a scholar that says this, that agrees with me, but you're not giving the reason as to why they make their claims. So you're just asserting their claims without actually giving the justification for their claim. So you're just appealing to their authority without actually giving any substantial reason for me to accept the claim that you're putting forward.
No one prior to, listen, if you do any research on Eusebius is known, he was known for making shit up and inventing things. That's what Eusebius was known for. Prior to Eusebius, no one references or quotes the Testimonium Flavianum. He's the first person in history to cite it. That is a red flag. Why didn't anyone earlier than Eusebius cite the Testimonium Flavianum? If they were reading Josephus's works and they were Christian and they were looking for evidence of a Jesus, why didn't they cite him? Why didn't they cite the Testimonium Flavianum?
If you read T.C. Schmidt's work, you'll actually see that Josephus's statement in regards to the testimonium Flavianum doesn't help Eusebius or Origen or anyone with proving the things that they're trying to refute in regards to the heretics. The heretics are not trying to say that Jesus did not exist. So they're not bringing up Josephus in order to do that. They're showing that Jesus is the Christ. So they're not going to bring up Josephus saying that he was thought to be the Christ to then try to prove that he was the Christ. That's counterproductive. So no, they're not going to go to Josephus's writings in order to prove the things that they're trying to prove to the heretics. You can read about that in T.C. Smith's work, though. So you see how you asked a question and then I was just able to answer it because I studied the topics that I'm passionate about?
I answered your question.
So in regards to...
Every question you asked me, I answered it.
So now we have evidence that Jesus Christ existed.
No, we do not. No, we do not have evidence of a Jesus the Christ. We don't. I'm sorry.
So here, do you know what a historical document is?
We don't have evidence of Jesus, sir.
Yeah, nice. So next time when I ask a question, try to make sure that your answer's on topic. Do you know what a historical document is?
We don't have evidence of Jesus, sir.
It's the second time where I didn't get an answer to my question.
We don't have evidence of Jesus, sir. I'm sorry. I apologize. So, nice try.
Okay,
also, Tacitus isn't evidence of Jesus either. Sorry.
So you do really good at just spewing out claims without justifying anything. You're fantastic.
I already did,
like
brother.
If you didn't have to prove anything, you'd be amazing, right?
I already did.
But the fact that I'm asking you to prove something is the reason as to why you're getting cooked.
I already did, brother.
Well, you gave them all the reasons, and he's still doing this.
You said.
Hold on, wait. Do I need to listen to Black too, or is only Tahaka your mouth too? Do I got it?
Nice joke. I said Tahaka's a moderator, so nice joke.
I'm saying, do I got to listen to Black too when he cut it?
Black was talking to me. He wasn't talking to you. He was talking to me.
If you say so, bro, it sounded like he was talking to me. But look,
I wasn't talking to you, bro.
Yeah, he was talking to me. He wasn't talking to you
at all.
Look, I think I gave you enough cooking.
And I've given you enough as well. What are we talking about? I give you enough.
Look, maybe next Sunday
I've given you sources. I've given you sources that demonstrate that Paul's letters and the Gospels date to the 2nd century. I've given you sources.
Give me the reason as to why they say that. What's the reason as to why they say that?
Because there's nothing. We don't have nothing. Nobody writes about a gospel of Paul's letter. Nobody mentions a gospel of Paul's letter. Nobody cites reference. They don't even. The gospels are not named until the year 180 by Irenaeus. So nobody prior to Irenaeus knows what the fuck a Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John is.
You notice you're just saying stuff again.
Okay.
You're just saying.
Do you want a reference? You want a reference for that too? You need a citation. You need a source for that too. I can give you a source for that if you want one. I can give you a source. Do you want a source for that?
Hold on. Do you know what in scholarship is called the Pauline epistles?
Yes, and they all. Right? The crazy part is when it comes to these Pauline epistles, they are also saying that half of them are known flat out forgeries.
And
but the $1 million question is what's stopping the other half from being known flat out forgeries? It's just a compromise.
No, it's because we know for sure that they're written by Paul. We know when Paul died. Paul dies in the 1st century. So if we have writings from Paul, that means those writings are in the 1st century. You see how that works?
What evidence do we have of Paul unaliving in the 1st century? What do we have?
You have testimonium.
The Bible? Is that what you're talking about? The Bible?
No, the Bible doesn't talk about Paul's unaliving.
Listen, there's not a single contemporary anything that mentions a Paul or Jesus. Nowhere. If you got one, give me one. Give me one. Stop talking. No,
out here just spewing stuff.
Stop talking and give me a contemporary source for a Paul or a Jesus. Give me something, please.
Matthew.
The Gospels date to the middle of the 2nd century. The first person in history to publish a gospel is a man named Marcion. The oldest gospel published is called the oldest gospel.
Really? The oldest. You want to go back to Google?
The oldest gospel published is called Evangelion.
Do you want to go back to Google?
I've already given you.
Been beating your ass.
I've already given you sources for this, sir.
You want to go back?
There's this lady. She wrote a book about it too, but her book is $80 and she don't have it on goddamn Everend or Kindle, so I have to fucking pay $80 for her book. But
Dang, for real?
yeah,
That's
I'm
wild.
gonna get it though. I've been procrastinating.
No, crazy thing is Google free. Google free.
Also, there are. Let me look
you
up
can
something.
type in when was Matthew written.
Let me look up something.
And it's gonna say 60 to 65 AD. That sounds like first century to me. What that sound like to you?
Yes, I know it.
It sound like first century?
Yeah,
How about this, Elijah?
Google is a.
Ask it. What are the oldest fragments of the book of Matthew we have?
That's not how you date when a text was written.
No. I'm not asking you how to date when a text was written. I'm asking you where in the fragments, because what we're trying to get through to you is scholars come together and they suggest that that it was written between a particular date.
That's what I was
because due to looking at the literature itself. Not because that it's dated to this period.
Taharka, where did you get your information from? What are you talking about?
That is how scholars do it. They suggest
according to
they look at the documents and they say, oh, well, this happened in this time, this happened in this time, so this must be within this period.
That's not how they do. That's not how they.
That's exactly how they do it.
What are you talking? Where are you getting your information from?
Well, you tell me how they do it, then, Elijah. How do they do it?
So the way, especially in regards to biblical manuscripts, the way in which you'll be able to date a text is to see the amount of copies that was had, the external references, in regards to the text that was floating around, and how long it would take for it to get to other parts of the world. So this is why you can see things like P52, for example, end up in Egypt. The amount of time that it would take for a thing to end up in Egypt and be copied is going to be around 25 to 50 years by most scholars, which is why they would easily push the Gospel of John back into the first century. Even though the earliest manuscript we have comes from 125 AD, because of how long it would take for it to travel and be copied, is going to push it back into the first century.
Elijah, that is beyond nonsensical.
About.
That is nonsensical.
Okay. So you could just say things and then we're just going to run with it.
Yeah, you can just say things. That is nonsensical.
So
no, you can actually
how
look
are you
into
going to
the
tell
way
the
in which
amount of time something was copied?
What are we using to say that?
How can you tell the amount of time something was copied? That's what you just asked? How can you tell the amount of time something was copied?
If you're looking at one
this
fragment,
is your guide,
how
by the
can
way,
you tell
bro?
the amount of times a particular fragment is copied?
You want me to answer that question, Bar?
What was the question?
What do you mean?
I said,
this is your mouth.
Tell?
Hold on, wait, no.
I can't fucking hear. I'm trying to hear him. What is he saying?
If you have one fragment of information, how are you going to tell the amount of times that fragment was copied before it became that fragment?
How I don't know. How do you tell? You just got to go off what you got, right? If my earliest fragment is from 200, I can't assume that people was writing about this in 50 when we have no evidence of anyone citing, mentioning, or referencing any letters or gospels.
This is sad, man.
The only reason why they date a gospel to the first century is because it mentions the destruction of the temple. That's the only reason why. Outside of that,
show me the gospel that mentions the destruction of the temple, like as it actually happened, and not a prophecy.
Juke, 5 minutes is way too generous at this point.
5 minutes is crazy.
Look, I'll show you guys mercy because I'm a Christian and Christianity is true, right?
You can't. Christianity is not true.
I'll show you some mercy too, Elijah.
I'll leave on my.
No, a lie, nigga. Fuck out of here,
bro. Oh my God.
Hello?
I was trying to work with him.
Oh, were you? My bad. I thought you were. I was trying to. I was.
Hello. Let me talk.
I was trying to work with him because I'm like, okay. I asked for evidence of Jesus. He started citing shit from the Bible, and I'm like, we can't use the Bible as evidence because there's so much false information in the book. There's so much in the Bible that we have nothing extra biblical for. So it's like we can't just say the Bible is giving an historical account just because we believe in it. What outside the Bible corroborates anything in a Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John?
Hello? Hey, host?
Stop. Who keeps bringing this nigga up?
Oh, let me.
I mean, I'm not. Listen, I'm not entertaining. I'm not entertaining the Bible as a historical document for nothing, because 99.9% of everybody in that book never walked this earth. Adam, Eve, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Sarai, Hagar, Ishmael, Israel, Solomon, Gomorrah, Levi, Job, David. None of this, it's no evidence for these people. You would have to provide evidence of this stuff as the Bible says. You don't have evidence of this stuff. So then we go from that to, well, Jesus Christ is the son of Yahweh. Yahweh is a tribal storm deity out the desert. But philosophy demonstrates that the tribal storm deity is the God of the universe. How? Well, something can't come from nothing, and we have to have a all-knowing, but that don't take away from the fact that this deity who is named comes out of the desert, from desert tribes in Midian. We can't take that God and then field bro it into being real. No, you can't do that. And then he said, well, the resurrection. What resurrection of who, when, where, how? Where is this? Where? Where's the evidence for this? Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. You mean the Gospels that don't get named until 180?